Thank you for joining me again today. My name is Brian Otieno, founder of Pennington Consulting Group. And on today's topic, we want to talk about how to build your business credit with your EIN number and your EIN number only without using your Social Security number. So let's go ahead and get started now. I'm going to talk a little bit more about how to get this done regardless how bad your credit is, okay? We're not going to discuss or even worry about your personal credit. We're going to talk about how to do this without having no collateral at all for your business, without any revenue requirements, or even if you're a startup. This is something you can absolutely do as far as building business credit. I'm going to walk you through a step-by-step method as to what you need to do in order to start building business credit. And also, I'll go ahead and give you some vendors that you can use today so you can start building business credit today. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. So before I get started, let's spend a little bit of time talking about what is business credit really, okay? So now, most of you should be familiar as far as what personal credit is. Personal credit is something that tied to your Social Security number that measures your ability to pay back any loans or creditors. It's something that lenders use to evaluate risk. You know, when you walk into a bank and you need to borrow either to get a personal loan, an auto loan, or a mortgage loan, they pull your credit score. Three largest credit bureaus out there for personal side are Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax. Now, on the business side, and one thing that most people don't even really know, especially startup businesses, a lot of business owners that I've talked to don't even know that there's such a thing as business credit. And what they do is they spend majority of time funding their business, running their business, using their personal credit and their personal credit alone. And they just don't really realize and understand the benefits of building business credit. So let's just quickly talk about some of the benefits that you could expect when you start building business credit. And one of them is just number one, starting to build business credit where you can separate your personal credit from your business credit, okay? So you clearly should know that there is a huge difference between your business and your personal side. You know, that's why we incorporate the business. That's why we get the business its own EIN number. So there's that legal separation there. But people just sometimes end that separation from the incorporation side and getting the EIN number. They don't really step into the financing side. You need to continue that separation even when it comes to borrowing money, managing debt, and all the other aspects of business financing that you need to make sure stays within the business. So that's first thing is building business credit would allow you to separate your finances. So you can actually have your personal credit and you can actually have your business credit. So that's number one. Number two, it helps you and allows you to double your borrowing power, okay? When it comes to consumer credit lines or consumer loans, usually they tend to be a little bit lower because we're talking about an individual here. Now with business credit or business financing, you're looking at actually increasing your borrowing power up to 10 times, okay? Usually with like consumer lines, if you were to start, you know, building your personal credit from scratch, you would probably get like a $300 or $500 credit card to help you start building your personal credit. When it comes to business credit, you're looking at that increasing up to 10 times what that amount is. So the ability to be able to borrow much higher amounts, you know, allows you to, especially when you come your business owner, allows you to have access to funding so you can actually grow and expand your business much faster. Now, again, we all understand the statistics here, and you probably heard it before that majority of businesses usually fail within the first 5 years. You know, it goes up to like 65% or even higher. And one of the number one reasons why most of these businesses fail is because of lack of funding. So developing a good business credit and having your borrowing power increase up to 10 times does help mitigate that one of the reasons why most businesses fail, which is access to funding. So you'll be able to actually get access funding for your business up to 10 times. It also increases your business reputation, okay? Now, lenders are not the only ones that look at your business credit. You know, you have clients that look at business credit. Anybody can pull out another business credit profile, you know, unlike personal credit, because with personal credit, you actually have to have what we call as permissible purpose. I can't just go out there and pull your personal credit without your direct permission for me to pull your personal credit. And another thing is, not just anybody can pull personal credit, even with permission, okay? You have to be an institution, a lending institution, or you have to be, you know, offering some type of service that gives you a reason or a right to pull somebody's credit. You know, maybe you're an insurance company, or you're trying to, you know, rent a house or you know, an apartment or something like that. But you can't just pull credit just to pull credit when it comes to the consumer side. On the business side, anybody can pull your business credit profile. You have customers, clients can pull businesses credit profile to see how their business are, or even to rate the business, to kind of gauge the business reputation. You can also, you know, competitors sometimes can look up your business credit and to see how well you're doing. And if, you know, just simple things as far as you not actually knowing the business credit profile, knowing what's on there, or even having nothing reporting on there, might have you have a low score on your business, and it might ruin your business reputation. So regardless, even if you're going to be using the financing or not, you need to know what is on your business credit profile, because it goes a long way when it comes to your reputation. The other benefit as far as business funding is you can get business funding even if you can't qualify for any other type of funding there is out there. Okay, that's the beauty about this. Okay, regardless if you have no income, if you're a startup business, if you have no collateral, if every single lender out there tells you no, you can still qualify for business credit. I mean, it's just simply amazing. It's a great way also for the business to actually be able to fund itself, okay? Without having to depend on any other factors out there, the business can actually fund itself without even your own assistance. It literally can depend on its own self. Another huge benefit that I always say is, most people want to start a business because they want to leave a legacy. You know, you want to have something you can pass on to your kids for future generation. And this is just such a huge benefit. Don't just focus on starting a business, running a business, and having a business is great, making great income, but it doesn't have a good business credit building profile. That's just one of the facets of the business that is critically important. Just like personal credit is important as far as to you and your personal finances, business credit is just as important when it comes to the business growing, the business having its own integrity, okay? So there's a lot of benefits that we're talking about here as far as building business credit. It's critically important for you as a business owner to build business credit, regardless of how long you've been in business. And if you've been in business for some time, and this is your first time that you actually are learning about business credit, you need to go out there and see what's been reported on your business so you can kind of see out there what lenders are looking at when you actually apply for financing, okay? So now, let's go over exactly the steps that are needed in order to properly start building business credit from scratch with you just using your EIN number and your EIN alone, okay? Now, these steps I'm gonna go over one by one, from step one in order. Now, this is very important that you follow these steps because I've seen so many people mess up, okay? I'm gonna go over the do's and don'ts as to why you don't wanna do it the wrong way and why you need to do it the right way, okay? It's critically important for you to be able to be fundable. That's the whole point of you setting up and establishing business credit so you can increase your funding power. We just talked about how business credit increases your borrowing power by over 10%, okay? Over 10 times. So instead of you getting a $10,000 approval when you could on your personal side, now you can get up to $100,000, okay, for you to be able to actually grow that business. So first step in order for you to start building business credit is you must make sure you're incorporated, okay? You actually have to have an actual business. So I'm gonna keep on repeating that until we all get it. We cannot start our business and run our business as a sole proprietor, okay? That's just not the way to do it because you're still stuck under your Social Security number. We're here talking about building business credit with your EIN number. So you must go to your Secretary of State, determine whatever corporate structure is right for you, regardless of whatever situation you're in. You probably need to speak to an attorney if you need to. Majority of people, though, an LLC will do just fine. Just like us, Pentic Consulting Group, we started an LLC, okay? But there is C Corp, S Corp, there's all different types of corporations out there, but you must incorporate. That's the first step. I always look at that as, you know, since we compare business credit and personal credit, incorporating is like getting your business birth certificate, okay? Just like whenever you were born, the first thing that your mom and dad did is got you your birth certificate, okay? The next step is you have to get an EIN number, okay? This is kind of, what we're going over right now is stage one. This is the first stage. So stage one, step one, incorporate with the Secretary of State. Get your business birth certificate, okay? Stage number two is get your EIN number, which is issued by the IRS. Absolutely completely free. Issued by the IRS, irs.gov. I'll probably provide you a link below on where you can get that pulled. It's absolutely free, but it's very similar to your Social Security number. Again, once you get your birth certificate, you get a Social Security number on the personal side. So on the business side, once you get your Articles of Incorporation from the Secretary of State, then you turn around and you get your EIN number. Stands for Employee Identification Number, because that's where everything is going to be tied into. Now, that's stage number one. And stage number two is to make sure that you have a business website, okay? It needs to be under your domain. It needs to have a real business website. You must have a web presence in today's world in order for you to do business. That's just something that, you know, we all must have, okay? Number two, you have to have a real business email address. Please don't use like a Gmail or any of these free services. Get a real business address. Lenders do take this into consideration. Underwriters are trained to look for reasons to say no, okay? So these are the things that they just look for that you just don't really seem serious if you have a free web service or a free email address. Number three, you must have a real business phone number, okay? Stop using your Google Voice number, your cell phone number that is under your grandma's name or your girlfriend's name. There's something called caller ID. You know, I think we all kind of forget about this technology that came about in the early 2000s. Caller ID. Lenders do verify phone numbers to see what they're registered. So it has to be a real business phone number. It has to be under the business, okay? If you want to have a business cell phone number, that's perfectly fine. Just make sure that the phone company has that phone number registered under the business. Don't get any of the free services that are out there. I usually advise most of my clients to just simply get a Rent Central number or a Vonage number. I'll provide you some links in the description. And lastly, get an actual physical business address. Don't use your home address. Lenders frown upon that. It's going to make a huge difference if you're going to get approved for $1,000 or maybe get approved for $5,000 or $10,000 based on just an address, okay? They do see that you have a home address for your business. So if you need to get a virtual address, then it's very recommended that you do so. If you don't have a physical address or physical location for your business, it's perfectly fine for you to get a virtual address. And you can get usually a virtual address for just a few dollars every single month. So I just want to kind of summarize stage two, a very critical step that this is where a majority of people actually do not do this correctly, okay? You must make sure, let's just kind of go over it. You have to have a business website. You have to have a business physical address. Get a virtual address if you need to. You have to have an actual business phone number. You have to have an actual business email address. I just want to cover that. It's critically important for you to make sure that you set that up correctly, okay? Now, let's move on to stage number three as far as building a business credit with your EIN and the EIN number alone. Then after you are done with stage one and two, you want to move on to stage number three, okay? Now, stage number three is you want to make sure that your business is set up with 411. Definitely, I'll leave a link in the description how you can get your business registered for free with 411 service. You want to go ahead and go to Dun & Bradstreet, get a free DUNS number. It's absolutely free for your business to get a DUNS number. I'll provide you a link in the description how you can get a DUNS number for your business. You also want to go ahead and get your business voicemail set up, okay? It's critically important. I don't know how many times I've contacted business owners and I get that message saying that the voicemail system is not set up. You want to be able to look very credible, okay? And especially when lenders are trying to get in touch with you, underwriters have a ton of people that they're trying to get in touch with every single day. And if you don't want to get that dreaded denial reason as to unverifiable information because the lender was not able to get in touch with you, make sure that you leave your set up your voicemail, because even majority of us do not answer phone numbers that we do not are familiar with because we get way too many spam calls. So you want to make sure it's critically important that you do get that business voicemail set up, and it needs to be a professional voicemail, okay? Don't have one of those, hey, you know what to do, or you know, any of those personal type of voicemail. You don't want to have that. It needs to be a very professional voicemail, because again, this all comes down to credibility. We're talking about now establishing business credit with no personal credit with even startup companies. I mean, they have really nothing to base anything on as far as the business other than your perception, how you presenting yourself. So Of course, you want to make sure that you look very credible. You have a lot of, the business has integrity, and, it's not a joke. You want to make sure that you have a business bank account set up. That's critically important. I've talked to so many people, they start their business. Some of them even start as a sole proprietor, and they use their personal bank account to fund their business. It is critically important that you stop doing that right now. Your business needs its own business bank account. And I just want to kind of point this out there. Make sure that the transactions that are being ran on the bank account are business transactions, okay? There's so many times I've pulled up, I've looked at business bank statements and I see Netflix charges, JCPenney, and, McDonald's, or whatever it is. And some of these companies can be business charges, but, based on what I noticed and what I've seen out there, they were definitely not business charges, those personal charges. So you want to make sure you get the business bank account set up, you get a merchant account set up. I'll provide you some resources below if you need some assistance with getting that done. But this is all that you need to get done in stage number 3. I mean, one of the shocking facts that I've heard out there is 80% of business applications get denied. And the thing is, they're not getting denied because they have bad credit or, or even some kind of derogatory factor out there. Or they're considered high risk. They're simply getting denied because none of the information was able to be verified. The business does not look like a credible business. It did not look like a legitimate business, okay? And when lenders don't have much to go off of to pretty much evaluate risk other than the credibility of the business, other than how well the business is set up, then of course they're going to deny it. If they call you and try to leave your voicemail and your voicemail is not set up, or you use your personal a cell phone number that you have set up under your ex-girlfriend's name, or you use your personal Gmail account as your email address. These are the things that the underwriters use to judge you. So make sure you get everything done on stage number 3 correctly as we proceed on to what you need to get started with stage number 3 as to stage number 4 when it comes to actually now starting to build business credit, okay? Because so far we've incorporated, we've got the EIN number, we've gone through, I don't want to summarize it again, you can go back to the video again, but we've gone through stage 1 all the way to stage number 3. Now let's go ahead and start talking about building that business credit, some of those starter accounts, and how you're going to go about executing stage number 4, okay? Let's go ahead and get started there. Now let's talk about stage number 4, actually going out there and getting real, actual, usable trade lines that are going to be reporting with the 3 major credit bureaus, because the goal here is, again, building business credit. We need to go ahead and establish an initial credit score, and we need to go ahead and establish an initial credit profile. In order to do so, just like the personal side, we need to have some trade lines that are reporting on the business credit report in order for them to generate a score and to generate a profile. So I'm gonna go ahead and give you the secret here. There's two ways on how you can quickly start getting this done. How you can quickly start getting these trade lines on your business credit profile, and how you can quickly get that score generated with all the 3 major business credit bureaus. Keep in mind the 3 major business credit bureaus is Dun & Bradstreet, the largest one. Number 2 is Experian Business, which is the 2nd largest. And then you have number 3, which is Equifax Business. So now, the 2 different ways is you can do what I call getting an unsecured business line of credit. I call them UBLs. Now, these are lines of credit that are assigned to the business. You can get up to $150,000. That's absolutely right, $150,000, a line of credit assigned to the business. Even as a startup, there is no time and business requirement. There is no collateral that is required. There's no revenue requirements. I mean, absolutely none. It does require that you have good personal credit, okay? Unsecured business lines do require that you personally guarantee the lines. The lines will not report on your personal credit, but in case of any default, they can come after your personal credit personally. But it's a really good and quick way for you to quickly get up to $150,000 so you can quickly start building business credit and have these trade lines reporting on there. And in addition to that, it is actual real cash credit lines, where you can actually use real cash. That's the first option that I want to throw out there. And the best option, if you do not have good enough personal credit, you can use a personal grantor. So if you have anybody that can help you co-sign that has good enough credit, maybe your mom or your dad, this is a great way for you to quickly start getting, number 1, help you build business credit. Number 2, get real financing, real cash. And these lines, they have very attractive terms. I mean, majority of the credit lines that we get established for our clients have 0% interest rate guaranteed for at least 6 months, okay? So just hear me out. You'll be able to get $150,000 and borrow at 0% interest rate for at least 6 months. And some of them can go up to 12 months or even a year. Okay, I have clients in the real estate industry that they love these unsecured credit lines, because again, in the real estate industry, especially in the flipping industry, you want to buy, fix, and sell. Usually you want to get in and out within a 90-day period or even less, okay? So when you can go ahead and purchase the house utilizing our hard money lenders, and then go ahead and use these credit lines, $150,000 for any rehab or any cost that is associated with the closing of that real estate, you literally can go ahead and invest in the property at 0% cost to you, zero out-of-pocket expense to you. So anyway, we can talk a little bit more about that, but the first option that I want to tell you, the quickest way is getting some unsecured credit lines for your business up to $150,000. And these lines of credit will report to all the 3 major credit bureaus and quickly start getting you some trade lines on your business credit building profile. The second option is to use what we call startup vendors. Startup vendors are companies like Granger, Uline, Accurate, Strategic Network Solutions. I'll provide you a link in the description below. These companies will get you approved without good personal credit, without ever asking you for your social security number. Instantly your business can get approved for a line of credit with them. It will be a vendor card that you can utilize those funds only with this specific companies. But again, these are quickly going to be able to get you approved for these credit lines, where you can go ahead and start utilizing these, so you can go ahead and start establishing a business credit profile and start generating a business credit score. Okay, now once you have at least 5 to 10 credit lines reporting on your business credit profile, once you have 5 to 10 open accounts, okay, you need to go ahead and use them. Because one of the things that they do look at in the business credit world in order for you to qualify for more financing is how many payment experiences have you had. There's that term that you're going to hear very often, is payment experiences. They want to make sure you want to have at least between 8 to 10 payment experiences before you move on to the next step. And the next step is actually getting real loans, real actually usable credit lines or lines of credit, okay? You want to get, again, at least 8 to 10 of those before you can move on to the next. 8 to 10 payment experiences before you can move on to the next. Now, the next step is you can go ahead and get some credit lines with some vendor accounts. You know, you got companies like Sam's Club, Dell Financial. Dell will get you a $5,000 line of credit, even regardless of how long you've been in business, as long as you have these 8 to 10 payment experiences that we just mentioned. Sam's Club, Amazon. Actually, the Sam's Club card is an actual tool cash card that you can get without personally guaranteeing it, with having these 8 to 10 payment experiences that we're just talking about. There's Office Depot, there's Office Max. A lot of these companies do offer financing once you have a few payment experiences and a few accounts reporting on your business credit profile, once you have a score being generated. So again, you want to start off with, first off, deciding, do you have good personal credit to get the unsecured business credit lines, which is going to be a really quick way for you to get $50,000 to $150,000 in credit lines. If not, then you can go ahead and start with the startup vendors that we just talked about, Uline, Accurate, Granger, the ones that I just mentioned, okay? Then after you have those accounts, you've ordered some items, you're starting to generate a score, then you can move on to the next step, which is get the vendor cards, okay? Vendor cards, you know, the Sam's Club, you know, Office Depot, Office Max, and so forth and so on. And then after that, you continue on to move on to auto financing. You know, you can even get auto loans, you know, fleet financing with utilizing just literally your business and business credit card alone. You can buy cars, you can buy, you know, whatever it is that your business needs. You know, if I got a lawnmower company that I was working with, they were able to get 4 brand new lawnmowers for their business without personally guaranteeing it. They were only in business for 6 months, okay? 6 months. 4 brand new lawnmowers. They were able to get them to more lawns, of course. He's just started out, him and his business partner. Now he was able to hire 2 more new people within 3 months of him being in business. 2 more new people, so he can take on more contracts and, of course, more money for his business. So again, we just went over everything step by step, all the different stages from beginning on how you can get your business credit built with your EIN and how you can get it done fast. Okay, now if you don't know, I am still giving out a free copies of my book, 3 Paths of Lending, where I cover exactly everything that you need to know about business funding. I always tell people it doesn't matter how much money you're looking for. If you're looking for $5,000 or $5 million, there's only 3 ways on how you can get your business funded. And this book is a great way, especially given the fact that most businesses fail because of lack of funding. You know, most most startup businesses fail because of lack of funding. And what I wanted to do with this book is provide a resource to give you some ammunition, because most business owners really don't know the funding aspect of things, and I wanted to simplify funding because it's made very complex, very complicated. And I wanted to simplify it for pretty much anybody to understand, regardless of what your education level or your understanding level as far as finances. So you want to grab that book. I'm giving out some free copies of that book. So it doesn't really cost you anything at all. So there's going to be a link in the description on where you can get that book absolutely free for you. And again, if you need some assistance as far as helping you build business credit, we have a great program. You can either do this by yourself, absolutely, of course. I'm going to continue offering resources on this channel on how you can do this by yourself. But if you need some guidance, if you want us to make sure that you get this done correctly, we do have a program that you will be working with one of my coaches step by step. They'll walk you through stage 1 all the way to stage number 4, hold your hand throughout the whole process, recommend vendors to you, make sure you get it done right, get it done correctly, make sure your Experian business profile is set up correctly, make sure your Equifax is set up correctly, because it's pretty easy to set up the DUNS number. The Experian and the Equifax gets a little bit complicated. So if you're interested in our service or even interested to hear more about it, definitely you want to get in touch with us. There's going to be a link that I provide you in the description, pcgcreditfunding.com. There's actually a training on there that I talk about our service. So you want to make sure you take a look at that. Definitely appreciate you for joining us today. Hopefully you found some value in this video, of course, like I always try to do with every one of my videos. If you have any topics that you would like us to cover, of course, drop a comment below, or definitely do like this video if you find the information helpful. Do subscribe to the channel. There's going to be more content just like this. You cannot miss out on this if you're a business owner or if you're an entrepreneur. So again, like always, I appreciate you for being with us here today. I appreciate you for your time. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next video.